Hey, this is Briana for Unsigned and Unleashed, and I'm here with Foxing. How are you guys today?
We're doing really, really good.
I'm doing fairly well.
All right, awesome. So can you just say your name and what you do in Foxing?
And my name is Josh Coll, and I play bass in Foxing.
My name is Conor Murphy, and I sing in Foxing, and I also play trumpet and a sample pad.
Awesome. Okay, so in a recent interview, you guys sort of mentioned that you're working on a new music video. So can you sort of enlighten us as to what song it's going to be or anything about the music video?
Yeah, the song is called The Medic. It's the third song on the album that we put out. And, I don't know. Do you want to tell us something about it?
Well, the video, Josh came up with the idea for the video, and it's, I guess not to, it's weird to answer without like spoiling what it kind of consists of, but basically a really good friend, Dylan Schnittker, who's the best director that we know, he's a really great friend. He directed the video, and Josh and I will be editing it with him, or we've already finished editing actually, and it's going to be color corrected by Dylan Schnittker and Josh Lassing. God.
Okay. Sweet. All right. So on the last record, you guys have a lot of other instruments, you have a lot of friends, other musicians come in, and that can be kind of difficult when you play live shows. So whenever you guys make a new EP or a new album, whatever it be, do you guys think that you're going to take that into consideration? Like, are you going to continue to have like other musicians come into the studio, or?
I think with I think the thing with the way that we approached the Albatross was that we all kind of come from orchestral backgrounds, and it's something that we're all very interested in. And I think that it's something that will probably always from now on be a part of the music. I think when you first start implementing stuff like that, I wouldn't say that we went overboard or we went a little bit, like heavy-handed with it. By any means, like I think everything sits exactly where it needs to. I think for us, from now on, it'll be about refining and kind of like finding the spots where it's really needed and it will really add to the song, and just kind of like maturing that as a whole. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely we will be implementing a lot of orchestration into our next record, mainly because we just love orchestrated music, and we love implementing it into post-rock elements and indie rock elements, and I think pulling it off live is always something really strange to do, but we've kind of found with the Albatross at least a way to pull it off by kind of making up for it with the five of us. So we have, flutes and strings and other brass like on the record, but when we play live, we try to kind of just put more energy into it, and we actually rewrite parts so that it comes across the same way live that it does on the recording in a completely different way. So, yeah, and I think we'll really try to be doing that in the next record. Hopefully pull it off.
That sounds great. Okay, so you guys just signed to Triple Crown Records, and they're going to reissue the album. So how have fans been reacting to the news of a reissue as opposed to a new EP or what have you?
I think overall the response has been pretty unanimously supportive. I mean, one, just for the simple fact that we've had an overwhelming demand for vinyl records in particular, and those have been out of press for quite a while. So just in that regard, I think people have been really excited just to get their hands on it, because it went out it went through 2 pressings initially, and they went fairly quick. So yeah, I think just in that regard, I think people are really excited. I think just overall, like people that we've met on the road, or we've met through playing music, I think overall the consensus is that like we've worked really hard, and I think that we I think deserve it maybe is a little bit strange the way to go, but like I think that just like that, I think honesty and like being like genuine throughout, like as a person and as an artist and all that, I think that like people latch onto that and people respect that, and I think that like I don't want to say that we have like an overwhelming amount of like integrity as a band, but I think that like people who like our band generally like approach us and know us, and like and I think that like overall people have been really excited about it for us,
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't know. It would be weird to me for somebody to be unsupportive of the Switch, just because everybody I've ever encountered that's liked our music, it's just this completely genuine connection that we have as human beings, just through the emotional content in our music. It's like, I know it's like it's like a thing that every band says, but I really do feel like we have like the best fans in the world. Like we have the best supporters that you could possibly ask for, because it's just, I don't know. Every single time I've ever talked to somebody, there's been times where people have like cried during our shows, and I know I've cried so many times listening to my favorite bands, and that makes me feel like an unbelievable feeling of just humbleness and humility. And I think, I think the people that don't support the Switch are maybe reading a little bit more into it than they would need to, I guess.
Yeah, you guys have a really good connection with your fans.
Yeah, we believe so, yeah.
All right, so 2 more questions. The Albatross is a really personal album. So for you guys, which song off the album means the most to you personally?
Mine's kind of easy. Rory definitely means the most to me on the album. It just comes from a really dark place in my life, and it was something that, like, at the time that we were writing it, Josh and I write like almost exactly 50% of the lyrics, and then anything that we don't write, like that I wouldn't write, then Josh edits. So Rory was like this time in my life that was just this horrible thing happening, and more than anything, it was the connection with the rest of this band that really got me out of it. And every time I sing those lyrics, it just reminds me of it. And there's a lot of times where I just get extremely emotional singing it because of how important that is to me. So.
Probably we have in the middle section of the record, there's 2 songs that are back to back that share the same name. It's Bit by Debbie Part 1 and Part 2. Not to like dive too deep into what the content of the songs are about, but I think that those were written in the very like close to the tail end of the record, and a lot of the themes that are expressed throughout the album, I think that like in my own personal life and maybe in Conor's as well, those things are starting to come to a head, and it was kind of like the apex of like a lot of really kind of like tumultuous and like rough things that were going on for me personally, and those 2 songs like coupled together were very cathartic for me because they kind of represented a kind of like a coming to terms with certain things that I was going through, and the fact that I was able to vocalize them. I mean, like vocalize them on paper, and then like have like through Conor, who, I mean, that in itself is just a really amazing experience to like be able to write certain things and like trust somebody else that they understand it as well enough to like basically give a part of yourself to somebody else. But yeah, those 2 songs for me personally were really, really, really difficult to write because there's a lot of like self-deprecation maybe, or a little bit like kind of self-damning, and a little bit admitting things about parts of myself that maybe I would normally be a little bit embarrassed to talk about in a setting like this.
All right, awesome. Okay, so my last question is, how would you describe a good person? In 1 word, though.
1 word?
Yeah, 1 word. It could be a characteristic or a trait, anything.
That's a hard question.
I'll go first.
Okay, yeah.
I'd say kindness.
I think I would say honest. I guess I shouldn't elaborate on it. I can't do that.
No, just the 1 word.
Just honest.
Loyal.
Loyalty.
I think between the 3 of us, we have a pretty good person.
Yeah, just combine the 3. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
Yay! Aw, yay! Thank you.